You can't escape what you still believe in. Quitting time at the plant. Time for supper now. Time for families. Time for a cool drink on the porch. And underneath it all, behind the eyes of ordinary men, is a horror without words. For this is the stillness before the storm. This is the eve of the end. Rod Serling called it third from the sun, but he wasn't naming a planet. He was naming the distance. Not from a star, but from awareness. It's the mind 3 steps removed from reality, the orbit of guilt circling the sun of love. Will Sturka builds hydrogen bombs for a living. By day, he manufactures extinction. By night, he plays cards, drinks lemonade, and tells his daughter he's just a cog in a wheel. That's the lie of sin. I've done something wrong, but I had no choice. The ego loves that logic. It commits the crime, then pleads innocence. The Course calls this the unholy trinity: sin, fear, and guilt. Sin says, I did it. Fear says, I'll be punished. Guilt says, I deserve it. And together they build the bomb, push the button and call it fate. When Sturka plans to steal the ship, he's not escaping danger, he's repeating it. The ego always doubles down inside the dream. Instead of waking from fear, it tries to outrun it. Instead of questioning the belief in separation, it reinforces it with secrecy and speed. That's why Serling's title is genius. Third from the sun means twice removed from truth and still running. They're not fleeing destruction, they're orbiting it. Thoughts do not leave their source. You can travel 11 million miles and still meet yourself when you arrive. Carling, the smiling co-worker, is guilt personified. He warns Sturka to watch what he says and what he thinks. That's the ego policing its own prison, terrified the mind will see its insanity. Jody, the daughter, feels it too. There's something in the air, she says. She's right. Fear is the atmosphere of a guilty world. It's what passes for oxygen here. When Carling blocks the gate with his gun, the illusion completes its circle. The men who build weapons by day now use them by night. They tell themselves it's self-defense. But every act of violence in the name of survival is still violence. The Course teaches that attack is never justified. To believe you must harm another to be safe is to believe in a God who plays favorites, a God of fear, not love. If your salvation requires someone else's loss, it isn't salvation. It's projection wearing a halo. That's why the ship's departure feels hollow. They've won the war before the war by becoming what they feared. They called it freedom, but it was only permission to stay asleep. When the viewer reveals their destination, the third planet from the sun, Serling smiles through the cosmos. They didn't escape Earth. They recreated it. The new world is just the old thought in a new location, because guilt travels faster than light. Guilt isn't in space at all. It's in mind. Light, in the physical sense, has to move. But guilt is instantaneous. It's already everywhere you believe separation exists. It leaps ahead of form. It writes the script before the first word is spoken. It builds the bomb before the metal is forged. It decides the war before the armies march. It's the velocity of projection, the speed of denial trying to outrun itself. You can fly to another planet, switch religions, change partners, change names, or build a ship out of dreams. But if guilt remains unhealed, you'll arrive to find it waiting, unpacked and patient. That's why it seems faster than light. Light still symbolizes truth. Truth simply is. It doesn't chase or pursue. But guilt is motion itself, the impulse to leave, to separate from innocence. And motion will always appear to outpace stillness until the mind remembers that stillness was never lost. The only real exodus is forgiveness. You don't leave this world by death or distance. You leave by waking up. The bomb never existed outside the mind that made it. The countdown was always internal. And the stillness before the storm is only the pause before remembrance. For when the mind remembers its innocence, the war is over. Not by treaty, by truth. Behind a tiny ship heading into space is a doomed planet on the verge of suicide. Ahead lies a place called Earth, the third planet from the sun. And for those who still dream of escape, it will always be the eve of the beginning. Everyone who still believes in exile. Everyone who thinks salvation is a change of scene, a new planet, a better body, a safer neighborhood or country, a holier identity. Escape is the ego's religion. It says the problem is out there and the answer is somewhere else. But somewhere else is just another name for not here. And not here is the birthplace of time. So long as you're trying to get away, the dream keeps generating new terrain to flee across. That's why the countdown never ends. It will always be the eve of the beginning. Because the ego can't reach the morning. It lives in perpetual anticipation, the almost, the about to, the not yet. It keeps the mind in twilight, where it can promise dawn without ever allowing it. The eve of the beginning is limbo, a world forever preparing to start, forever escaping, forever hoping. But morning only comes when you stop running. When the mind forgives itself and stands still long enough to see that it never moved at all. Then the eve ends, and the beginning is remembered as what it always was: eternity.